everyone, I'm back again with a Rashi series, and we are now up to the sign Libra, which is the seventh sign of the zodiac, and it's also known as Tula in Sanskrit. So now Libras tend to be quite idealistic, artistic, very impressionable, and somewhat inspirational. They tend to have very charming manners. They take interest in their appearance, and they tend to seek creature comforts. They're affectionate and gentle, and they tend to seek popularity, and usually they are quite popular. They're fond of socializing, quite happy at home as well. They like a high standard of living. It's an air sign, and so it's connected to kama, which is our need for fulfilling our desires, and the happiness that we derive from things that we have and the connections that we make in life. Now, Libras tend to have many relationships that have a sort of a, I would say it's kind of I want to say a transactional quality about them, because they're always sort of seeking that give and take ratio, and they're quite sort of attached to the fairness in their interaction. Because of that reason, they are quite aware of the give and take proportion in a connection or a relationship. With so much focus that they have on relationships, they can also be quite shallow, losing sight of the bigger picture in life. Mental restlessness can also creep in, which it does with the other air signs as well, because again, going to the nature of the element of air, the disposition becomes it can be unstable. It can also be quite superficial. They're best suited to Gemini, Aquarius, Aries for relationships. They're a movable Rashi, so they prefer the challenge of starting new things rather than perfecting the things that they already have in front of them. Now, their ruling planet is also Venus, like Taurus, which is the planet of relationships. Showing a sort of a courteous approach to life. So in Libra, the focus is more on relationships, whereas in Taurus, the focus is more on sensuality and possessions and things like that. So that's sort of the difference between the two Venus-ruled signs there. Libra is also a Rajasic sign, which shows that their primary motivation is fulfilling their desires. Now, not only does Venus rule their first house, but Venus also rules their eighth house of joint eighth house. What does it represent? It represents joint resources. It can be unpredictable events, transformation, etc. So they do, in some cases, they do understand the transient nature of connections and relationships. So I would say that the highest spiritual lesson for Libra is to try to universalize their desires and connect them with the divine through service. Rather than putting all of their energy into personal type of social connections. So in that way, they're still connecting with others, but for perhaps when you're doing it through service, it's definitely a higher vibration than when you're just doing it for sort of transient personal pleasure of simply socializing and connecting. Yeah, so that's a bit about Libra, and I hope that you found that helpful. Please feel free to subscribe below, and also check out my website, anahitarao.com. Thank you, folks.